Amber Guyger, then 31, wore the uniform of the Dallas Police Department and had done so for more than 4 years. A patrol officer by assignment, she moved through the city largely unnoticed, another badge in a sprawling force. Her name carried no weight beyond precinct walls until the evening of September 6, 2018, when a single catastrophic lapse tore her anonymity apart and rerouted the course of multiple lives. That night ended with the death of Botham Jean, a 26-year-old black accountant originally from St. Lucia. He was exactly where one expects safety to be absolute, seated on his own couch, inside his own apartment. No weapon, no threat, just the quiet ritual of unwinding, ice cream in hand, ease settling into the room. Into this private stillness, Amber Guyger entered and discharged her firearm. In seconds, comfort collapsed into calamity, and an innocent life was extinguished where it should have been most secure.
Get up, man.
Yeah, that's 911. This is Carla. Where's your emergency?
Hi, this is off-duty officer. I need EMS. I'm in number.
What's going on?
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
You shot someone?
Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Okay, and where are you at right now?
I'm inside the apartment with him. Hey, come on.
What's your name?
I'm Amber Guyger. I need to get me. I'm in.
Okay, we have help on the way.
I know, but I'm gonna lose my job. I thought it was my apartment. I need a need supervisor. Hey bud. Hey bud. Hey bud. Come on. I thought it was my apartment. I just could have sworn I parked on the third floor.
Okay, I understand.
I thought it was my apartment.
Okay, and what floor are you in right now?
The fourth floor. Hey bud, they're coming, bud. I'm sorry, man.
Okay, where was he shot?
He's on the top left. Oh my God, I'm done. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Stay with me, bud. Just tired. Hurry. Over here.
Okay, go ahead and talk to him.
No, it's me. I'm off duty. I thought they were in my apartment. I thought this was my floor.
How could a sequence so ordinary spiral into irreversible ruin? By Amber Guyger's own telling, the night began with fatigue clinging to her bones. A grueling shift had ended, and routine took over where alertness failed. She parked on the wrong level of her apartment complex, a small error that metastasized into tragedy. One floor above her own residence stood Botham Jean's apartment, eerily aligned, deceptively familiar. The doors, nearly twins, offered no immediate warning, or so she claimed. Believing she had returned to her own living space, Guyger entered. Inside, she noticed the outline of a man, a silhouette. In her mind, that shadow transformed into a threat. Convinced she was confronting an intruder, she unholstered her firearm and fired twice. One bullet struck Botham Jean in the chest. He was rushed to the hospital, time hemorrhaging away with each breath. He did not survive, but pause, just briefly. If you open a door and find someone seated, unarmed, unhurried, relaxed on a couch, does instinct demand immediate gunfire, or does training insist on restraint, assessment, confirmation? This question reverberated far beyond that apartment, echoing in courtrooms, newsrooms, and living rooms across the country. Many were asking it loudly. 3 days after the shooting, Guyger was arrested and charged with manslaughter. The response was swift and unsparing. Civil rights organizations, community leaders, and Botham Jean's family rejected the charge as insufficient, a legal understatement of a moral catastrophe. Pressure mounted, voices rose. The charge, they argued, failed to capture the gravity of what had unfolded. Eventually, a grand jury agreed. Guyger was indicted for murder, and a trial date was set. From that moment forward, the case no longer belonged solely to Dallas. The nation leaned in, watching not only because a young man had died senselessly, but because the case mirrored a broader reckoning, one entangled with policing, race, and the limits of accountability in America. In September 2019, the trial commenced. prosecutors dismantled the narrative of mistake and confusion. They argued Guyger's behavior defied reason and training alike. She ignored glaring indicators that she was in the wrong place. The red welcome mat outside Jean's door, the unfamiliar interior layout, the absence of her own belongings. These were not subtle clues, they were visual alarms. According to the state, Guyger acted recklessly. Her failure to pause, to verify, to follow protocol carried a fatal cost. An innocent man lost his life not in a dark alley, not during a confrontation, but in the quiet sanctuary of his own home.
Our options were, at this point, to go in and find the threat, or your option would have been, I'm going to back off, I'm going to take a position of cover and concealment, and I'm going to get some help out here. Those are options, right?
They are.
Okay. But you chose option A, which was I'm going in to find the threat.
That was the only option that went through my head. I was at home, and I...
Ma'am, will you answer my questions?
Yes, sir.
You should have taken a position of cover and concealment and got help. And instead you decided to go in.
Yes, I did go in.
You had a police radio on you, didn't you?
I did.
Did it work?
It did.
And why did you shoot?
Because I was scared that he was going to come at me and kill me.
That was your reason?
Yes, sir. I was scared, and I thought he was advancing towards me. He had a weapon.
And then when you found out you shot an innocent man, what did you think?
Everything changed.
Guyger's defense leaned heavily on the language of tragedy rather than intent. Her attorneys framed the shooting as a catastrophic misjudgment, not an act of malice. They portrayed her as an exhausted officer, worn thin by long hours and routine stress, who committed a profoundly human error. Fear, they argued, seized her in an instant, and instinct shaped by police training took over. In their telling, she reacted as any similarly trained officer might have under the same distorted perception of danger. Then Amber Guyger stepped into the witness box. The atmosphere in the courtroom shifted, attention narrowed, voices softened. She spoke haltingly, tears breaking through as she recounted the moment clarity finally struck that sickening realization that the space around her was not her own. Her composure fractured as she addressed Botham Jean's family directly, offering an apology laden with regret and anguish. She told them she wished the roles had been reversed, that she wished he had been armed instead, so that he would have died that night. It was a statement that stunned the room. Some heard remorse, others heard desperation, but no one missed the weight of it or the uncomfortable silence it left behind.
So I was scared. I was scared this person's apartment was gonna hurt me. And I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Ms. Guyger, could you please repeat your answer?
I was scared. Whoever was inside my apartment was gonna kill me. And I'm sorry. I have to live with that every single day that I heard.
Sustained.
Now that you know, you found out when you came around that counter, you shot an innocent man. How do you feel about that?
No police officer ever would want to hurt an innocent person.
I can't understand.
Ms. Guyger, let's take a second to collect yourself before you speak.
How do you feel what you did to Mr. John?
I feel like a terrible person. I feel like a piece of crap. I hate that I have to live with this every single day of my life. And I ask God for forgiveness, and I hate myself every single day. I feel like I don't deserve a chance to be with my family and friends. I wish he was the one with the gun that killed me. I never wanted to take an innocent person's life. I am so sorry. This is not about hate. It's about being scared that night.
Sustained. Mr. Shook, you want to answer the next question?
Oh.
The prosecution was unsparing in its response. Their questions cut through the defense's narrative with surgical precision. Why was no call made for backup? Why was no effort taken to administer CPR? Why did the encounter escalate instantly to deadly force? Each question lingered, heavy and unanswered, challenging the notion that procedure or reason had guided her actions. They also introduced fragments of Guyger's day leading up to the shooting. Text messages surfaced, some light, some flirtatious, exchanged with her police partner. Prosecutors suggested distraction, a mind divided when it should have been vigilant. Not proof of intent, they argued, but evidence of carelessness, of her failure to fully inhabit the responsibility she carried. Then came October 1st, 2019. After deliberation, the jury returned to the courtroom. The verdict was read aloud, guilty of murder. The air fractured. A collective gasp rippled through the room. Tears followed, some sudden, some long restrained. A few voices murmured approval under their breath. Others remained frozen, stunned into silence by the finality of the words. Amber Guyger stood alone as the reality descended. She broke down, her body trembling, sobs overtaking any attempt at composure. Across the room, Botham Jean's parents, who had endured the proceedings with quiet endurance, lifted their heads and hands. In that moment, they gave thanks, not in triumph, but in solemn relief, believing that justice, at last, had spoken.
Fired Dallas police officer Amber Guyger braced herself for the verdict today, and when it came down, it was as bad as it could have been.
We, the jury, unanimously find the defendant, Amber Guyger, guilty of murder as charged in the indictment. No outburst.
You could hear the gasps there inside the courtroom.
Guyger took a deep breath and wiped away a tear. A court officer did her best to comfort Guyger as she stroked her hair. The family of Botham Jean, the victim, expressed relief after the verdict. Many had attended the trial every day wearing red. That was his favorite color. Jean's mother raised her arms, thankful for the victory. You could hear supporters cheering the guilty verdict outside the courtroom. Amber Guyger looked stoic as she walked out, but she broke down just out of view of the cameras. Her family remained in their seats, looking shell-shocked.
What followed defied every expectation in the room. As the proceedings moved into victim impact statements, the atmosphere grew heavier, almost unbreathable. Then Brant Jean, Botham's younger brother, rose and approached the stand. His posture was steady, his voice controlled, grief restrained but unmistakably present. He fixed his gaze on Amber Guyger, not with fury, not with accusation began to speak. What he said next halted the courtroom in its tracks. Silence fell, thick and complete, as judges, lawyers, and spectators alike struggled to process words no one had anticipated hearing in that moment.
If you truly are sorry, I know I can speak for myself. I forgive you. And I know if you go to God and ask Him, He will forgive you. And I don't think anyone could say it. Again, I'm speaking for myself, not even bad for my family. But I love you just like anyone else. And I'm not gonna say I hope you rot and die just like my brother did, but I personally want the best for you. And I wasn't gonna ever say this in front of my family or anyone, but I don't even want you to go to jail. I want the best for you. Because I know that's exactly what both of them would want you to do.
Then Brant Jean turned toward the bench and made a request no script could have anticipated. He asked the judge if he could embrace the woman who had taken his brother's life. Time seemed to stall. The pause stretched, fragile and unreal. Finally, the judge gave a quiet nod. Brant stepped down from the stand and approached Amber Guyger. What followed was not a fleeting gesture or a symbolic touch. It was a sustained, deeply human embrace. He wrapped his arms around her, and she collapsed into him, sobbing sobbing openly, her grief spilling out without restraint. The courtroom unraveled. Tears spread from row to row. Even those hardened by years of legal ritual struggled to remain composed. It was a moment that felt almost impossible, mercy standing where anger was expected, compassion interrupting punishment. In that silence, broken only by quiet weeping, the boundaries between victim and perpetrator blurred, leaving behind a scene that few could fully comprehend.
I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Yes.
What happened next crossed a boundary few even knew existed. Judge Tammy Kemp rose from the bench, stepping away from the elevated distance that traditionally separates judgment from humanity. She walked toward Amber Guyger, embraced her, and placed a Bible in her hands. The gesture was quiet, intimate, and utterly unexpected. In an instant, the courtroom ceased to be merely a legal arena and became something far more complicated. The image ricocheted across the globe. Headlines followed. Opinions fractured. To some, it was profoundly moving, a rare display of grace in a space defined by consequence, an emblem of forgiveness made flesh. Others recoiled, unsettled by the optics and the implications. Civil rights advocates voiced pointed questions that refused to fade. Would a black defendant ever be met with such tenderness from the bench? Was it appropriate for a judge to physically comfort a convicted murderer in open court? Did this act of compassion blur the line between empathy and partiality? And perhaps most piercing of all, did this moment, however well-intentioned, dilute the justice Botham Jean's family had struggled so relentlessly to secure? The courtroom had delivered a verdict, but outside its walls, the debate had only just begun.
For the first time, Judge Tammy Kemp is also opening up about the moment that she gave former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger a hug and then gave her a Bible, all in the courtroom.
When Mr. Jean made the first request and followed it with please, my heart wanted to say yes, but my head was well aware of the sheriff's policy. But when he said please a second time, I could not refuse him.
After embracing Jean's family herself, she hugged the defendant too.
Mr. Jean has forgiven you. Please forgive yourself.
And she's standing by that hug.
Ms. Guyger asked me for a hug. And I'm embarrassed to say that she had to ask me twice. I saw the change or deterioration in her throughout the process. And so I felt like I wanted to not lose Brent John's compassion.
What followed, giving Guyger her personal Bible, led to a formal complaint from the Secular Freedom from Religion Foundation, which accused her of proselytizing. She told her Steve Pickett,
I never asked Ms. Guyger to pray, and contrary to popular opinion, I did not pray with her. I had no role to represent the state during a victim impact moment.
In parallel, Brant Jean's quiet act reverberated far beyond the courtroom. What began as a deeply personal gesture of mercy soon drew national attention, reframing him not merely as a grieving brother, but as a symbol of uncommon moral courage. His willingness to extend compassion in the aftermath of unimaginable loss struck a chord across the country. That moment of grace did not go unnoticed. Brant Jean was later recognized by the Carnegie Hero Fund Commission, an honor reserved for individuals who display extraordinary heroism in the face of overwhelming circumstances. The distinction placed his actions among rare company, those who choose humanity over hatred, even when the world might expect the opposite.
I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing to ensure that there will be no other families like mine? No other little brothers that have to model ethical leadership and forgiveness of a cop whose lack of training and discipline caused them to carelessly take the life. I'm truly grateful for this award, and I hope others can see the life in what I did. And thank you.
Even so, the case never settled into consensus. It lingered as a fault line, splitting public opinion long after the courtroom emptied. For some, the outcome represented accountability at last. For others, it felt insufficient, a sentence that failed to mirror the permanence of the loss. Amber Guyger was ultimately sentenced to 10 years behind bars, with the possibility of parole after 5. To her supporters, the punishment was severe for what they believed was a grievous mistake. To critics, it was a measured consequence, one that underscored how irrevocable a single decision can be, regardless of intent. The verdict closed the legal chapter, but the moral debate continued, unresolved and deeply human.
Assessed the defendant's punishment at 10 years imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. In addition, we assessed a fine of $0.
Still, for many, the punishment landed with a hollow thud. A murder conviction paired with a decade-long sentence felt, to critics, painfully disproportionate. Botham's mother, Allison Jean, acknowledged the weight of the guilty verdict, yet did not conceal her disappointment. Her words carried resolve rather than resignation. This should never have happened. I will continue to fight for reform. This is not the end. Grief for her had become a catalyst. Amber Guyger, meanwhile, pressed on through the appellate courts. Her legal team argued that the facts failed to sustain a murder conviction, insisting the incident should have been classified as criminally negligent homicide. The courts disagreed. In 2021, the conviction was upheld, closing another legal door. As of now, she remains incarcerated, her fate sealed by a jury and reaffirmed by the bench. This case, however, will not be archived as a simple story of crime and punishment. It endures because of its contradictions, because of the collision between loss and mercy, because of a hug that unsettled a nation. Can justice and forgiveness occupy the same space? Was that embrace an act of healing or a rupture in accountability? And if you had been seated in that courtroom, bearing witness to it all, what would you have done? Share your thoughts below. And if this story reached you in any way, pass it on. Someone else may need to hear it today. Be sure to watch the next video on your screen. I'll see you there.